What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Forced to Wreck with Comic Book Haul. If you're enjoying the videos, please comment, like, and subscribe down below. This comic book haul is from my recent visit to my friendly neighborhood half-price books. First up, we have Deathstroke number 32. This is the variant Francesco Mattina. I hope I'm not butchering that name. I found this one in the half-price books, just normal selection of books. This one was $2. Right off the bat, I saw this cover, fell in love with it. You can't really beat the coloring on this with the bat signal behind Deathstroke. I mean, Deathstroke is just a badass character. And anytime, I believe in this book, I haven't had a chance to read it, but I believe it's a crossover with Batman. So him battling it out with Batman, I don't see how you could pass it up. But with this being a variant cover, could not pass it up. Just a short, just kind of a side note on variant covers, guys. I'm not the biggest fan, but comment down below. I mean, I know variant covers are the it thing right now, and they have been probably since the 90s. That was kind of one of the things that really put me off, and they still kind of do, especially when some of the the comic variant covers are hard to find. I believe this one was like a 1 in 25 maybe. I'm not sure what the ratio was on this one, but comment down below, let me know what you guys think. Is everybody really in love with the variant covers? I know DC comes out with one almost, at least 2 or 3 almost on really every comic. I know at least every big comic, but I know Marvel does too, to a point. I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I can find a decent priced variant cover, I'm more inclined to pick it up. But to me, it really it bogs down, and really it makes it a little bit more pricier to pick up some of these variant covers. But please let me know down below, guys, what you think of variant covers. Next up, if you watched my last video, I picked up at my local comic book shop Star Wars Darth Vader number 25. I still, in that video, I kind of went into detail why I thought this book is hot. I paid $5 for it at the comic book store, and not even a week later, I found it at Half Price Books for $2. Anytime I'm pretty much going to see this book, I'm going to try to pick it up. I would say this is definitely a be on the lookout book if you didn't already know what was given, the details of this book. Like I said in my past video, it's a very important storyline. So again, if you see it like I did, cheap, I would advise picking that one up. I won't go too much more detail into this one. Like I said, I went in full detail in my last comic haul. So my next up book from Half Price Books is I picked up some Venom books. This one is Venom number 6. Any of the Donny Cates, I know right now that's extremely hot in the comic community. I paid $2.50 for this one. Haven't had a chance to read a lot of the Venom stuff from Donny Cates. I did just recently read The Thanos by Donny Cates, so I'm like most, I have become a fan of his writing. So I'm definitely interested in picking up either through trades or other issues of his current run of Venom. I mean, anything pretty much he touches is gold right now. So I'm like most, I have become a fan of his work. I also picked up number 5 for $2.50. I know this is the where he sprouts the wings, I guess, in regular Marvel continuity. I know that he had the crossover with Rune years back. I know that's a hot comic. I believe that's the first time Venom ever had wings, but I guess this is I'm assuming this is the first time, at least in continuity, I guess, without it being a crossover with Malibu. So I went ahead and picked it up. Again, it's just a Donny Cates hot comic right now, so I just went ahead and picked that one up. And then I picked up another Venom. This is an older one. This is Venom number 2 from the Enemy Within miniseries. It's kind of one of those just with Morbius's movie coming out soon too, I mean, this could be even more of a hot spec book. Paid $250 for this one. It just more or less kind of looked it up on eBay as I was kind of going through the books, and it just, you know, it's for $250, it probably at least probably around a $10 book or more. So just kind of one of those. Venom's hot, Morbius probably will become hot, so just figured, you know, two hot characters, why not, you know, pick a spec book up like this one. Then guys, the next one are the clearance books that I found at Half Price Books. First up, I got a run of G.I. Joe, Marvel, Real American Hero. Got about a stack of books. I am a huge G.I. Joe fan. I grew up in the 80s. So I have a number of these books. I also have the trades, the classic G.I. Joe that just came out from Marvel, and then IDW. So anytime I see any of the G.I. Joe, Real American Hero comics, I do try to pick those up, especially if they're in good condition, and most of these were pretty either very good or close to mint condition. So I paid $1 for all these books. First up is G.I. Joe number 10. This is the second printing of this book. If you notice at the top, the price and the number sequence, and then down below it also had the Spider-Man in the logo. So I didn't know that at the time. Of course, also when I started looking up, noticed that was a second print, so I'm happy to get that. This is a book I do have in I believe the first print, so getting this one in second, I don't think the print run was terribly bad, but it's still a second print and something I didn't already have. And this was also the first appearance of Dr. Venom in number 10. And I also picked up number 25. This one is the first appearance of Zartan, Deep Six, Mutt and Junkyard. It's also the first appearance of Cutter, and then also the first appearance of Dreadnoks, Ripper, Torch, and Buzzer. So I know most G.I. Joe fans, you know, Zartan is right there at the top, and especially the Dreadnoks. So I could not pass this one up. As soon as I saw that, this was probably one of the first ones that, you know, grabbed my eye, with, you know, obviously Zartan on the cover. I also picked up number 30. No first appearances in this one, at least none that are key. I just the cover on this one is just is really great cover. I couldn't pass it up for $1. I'm a Dreadnoks fan as well, so, you know, picking up this one probably strictly. I don't believe I had this one, so going ahead and just picking up number 30. You know, mainly probably just for the cover. Then picked up number 32. This one was a first appearance of Blowtorch, Lady J, and Ripcord. Next up was issue number 40. This one had one of my favorite characters from the comic books, from the cartoon series, which was Shipwreck, and then also a first appearance of Barbecue. That's an awesome Roadblock cover. Roadblock's one of my other favorite characters from that from the cartoon as well. Next up was number 53. Again, no special key appearances, first appearances in this one. This one is just, I just love the cover. It's iconic. You know, this is my favorite character in the G.I. Joe universe, with being Snake Eyes. So, and I love these old those Marvel covers. This one, they're all iconic. All the runs, the Avengers, X-Men. I believe the X-Men one had Wolverine on the cover. I just couldn't pass it up. Like I said, these covers are all iconic from that 80s run of Marvel books. Next up, I picked up 2 copies of issue 58. This one was the first appearance of Dusty, Fred 7, and then also the first Cobra Commander armor. This one is where they went from him being in the hood or the helmet into this special armor. not a bad. I remember actually reading this one as a kid. Very good storyline when they introduced Fred 7, where they actually try to basically get rid of Cobra Commander. So that was not a bad storyline if you haven't read it. Next issue I picked up was issue 59. This was the first appearance of Jinx, Tunnel Rat, Outback, the Blind Master, and Raptor. Here's Tunnel Rat there. Now, Tunnel Rat is another one of a lot of G.I. Joes, and is definitely one of mine, especially from G.I. Joe, the movie, when he was introduced in the movie. Jinx as well. And then also, for those who don't know, Tunnel Rat was based on Larry Hama, so I thought that was always really cool that this character is based on him, and it was introduced in issue 59. And last two comics, guys. Had to pick up Raiders of the Lost Ark, issue number 1, the movie special. I love Harrison Ford in as Indiana Jones, so picking this one up, it fits right in there. I mean, it's an awesome cover. Not really much more you can really say about that besides it's just an iconic movie. And picking up the first issue, I don't think it's going for a whole lot, but it's just more of to add to my collection, just something I haven't had. Last up, I actually found this one. Probably not, impressive to probably some people, but I do, Young Heroes in Love, issue number 1. This is a signed copy that I found in the clearance bins at Half Price Books. It's got this little hologram, and it's also got the Wizard certified authentic from the writer Dan Raspler. Could not pass it up. Anytime you can find basically anything like this, a number 1 issue, sign, I'm not going to pass that up. I do know, back in I believe it was late 90s when this series first came out, this was a really hot book, especially issue number 1. So now it's kind of died down obviously over the years. Would not be surprised somehow, some way this ends up being some kind of TV show or something on Hulu, Netflix, something. I would not be surprised. Maybe even the DC Universe app. I think it had a lot of potential for probably more of a mature audience, probably TV show based on superheroes. I would not be surprised somehow that down the road that didn't become a book. I'm surprised it's really not now. That's going to do it for this comic book haul. If you enjoyed the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Force Direct with. Later, guys.